I kind of felt like I was crowding this a little bit. I don't know why I didn't pay a little more attention. But now we're going to have the opportunity to come in here and see if we can repair this without making this an additional line through here. Let's see if we can come up with a little bit of inconsistency in our texture. I still want this to be the darkest part, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse out, some of that darkest area, and maybe start creating the highlight back in the right places. Maybe this is now going to be my opportunity to make sure this gets a little higher, and I can now take out a little bit of that darkest value I had, because I certainly don't want this to affect what I was trying to accomplish, where my darkest value was up under the brim, and now it's down a ways from the brim. So if I was going to suggest, if I was just going to leave it the way it is, I would have to go far too dark up here, because I already want to be able to have that range again, that range of value. I'm working within a certain set of values. I love this kneaded eraser like this, where it has these little points. May not always get everything off. I've got some stronger lines here, and yet I can still gradually mold this to where I've got it backed off enough and I can pick out, some little parts. It will lighten this area up again, allowing me to make this a little darker, and I don't want a line showing through there. This is almost like having a hairline where I've mentioned many times, when you have a hairline, you want to take the value of the forehead and the head and fade it away into where you're going to have hair, because otherwise, if you just come up here and stop, that's going to show through. But look at what an advantage. I already had a feeling there was something wrong, because I wasn't able to put all the patterns in the same way through here, and it was starting to crowd things down here. I didn't have the space between this little line here and the eyelid. It was getting too close, and so now I have the opportunity to come back up here and get this back where it should be, so that I have this room for this curve, and it comes back up into this area. Now, again, I'm creating a similar texture. I want to be able to give the same foundation. If I just come in there with something darker, I may not have that saturation in that area. I'm just using kind of my little doodle process here. And this is one reason why I like to be able to maintain the texture, because when I make an adjustment like this, I don't want this strip to show through here, not only in a line, but in something that's going to be a little smoother because it got burnished down. Isn't that something? And again, it's not that it has to be exactly the same. But if you're off on those things, then you'll probably be off in a few things that are even more critical. And that's why some of this probably wasn't falling together for me like I'd hoped. Breaking up this edge. And with this pointed eraser, it helps me kind of get that maintain some of that texture. At least gives me something that will help me recreate it and also camouflage, because I'm creating some of that same inconsistency, the texture in there, in a number of ways, not only with my pencil, but in the removal of the pencil, of the graphite. So it's good that you can see what I would do when I'm repairing something, because it'll give you, again, an idea. Hey, we all go through this, and it gives you an idea how I go about repairing it. Ooh, look at this. Boy, this was really low. Now I understand why. How did I get that far off?